in IELTS, candidates need to wait for like 2 weeks to 8 weeks for them to get the results of their remark. What about in OET? Do they have to wait for 2 to 8 weeks as well?
Is this the case in the IELTS?
No, not really. Because in IELTS, there are only two possibilities after the recheck. Option number one, hello? A common feature in OET and other English examinations is remark. How can you possibly challenge the grade that you got in the examination? So, I've discussed this in one of our videos, IELTS Remark or IELTS Recheck. But what about OET Remark? So, here's Pheelyp to explain or to tell us more, but expect me to butt in from time to time and compare this with IELTS, okay? Because I understand that some of you are still undecided which English examination is best for them. So, let's hear it from Pheelyp. OET Remark.
Perhaps unlike the IELTS remark, in which there is one fee for remarking all of the subtests, in the OET, it's a separate fee per subtest. If I'm not mistaken, it's 120 Australian dollars. Converted to pesos, it changes every day.
Yeah.
But that's roughly 4,000 something, I believe. Now, a common question that students ask, me and you, I believe, is, sir, am I going to challenge the grade that's given to me? And the answer that I give all the time is that, well, you have to think about it. Essentially, there are two kinds of tests that are included in the exam. On one hand, you have receptive skills, listening and reading, and on the other are productive skills, writing and speaking. Receptive skills, it's very objective.
Okay.
There's an answer key. So whatever grade that you get in listening and reading, what I tell them, that's it. Just practice and try again. It's very, very, very rare for your grade to shift. Yeah. On the other hand, though, for writing and for speaking, which are productive skills, there's more of a chance for your grade to shift, because who gives you the grade in writing and speaking? These are examiners, very highly trained in Melbourne, Australia. They use criteria, but at the end of the day, it remains a judgment call.
True.
Indeed. So when we look at the results of remarks of our students in OET, perhaps in contrast to the IELTS exam, your grade can increase, remain the same, or it can go down. Is this the case in the IELTS?
No, not really. Because in IELTS, there are only two possibilities after the recheck. Option number one, the grade increases. Option number two, it remains in the same way. It's not going down. But for OET, like what Pheelyp said, it could go up, it could remain as it is, or it could go down. So that's one difference between IELTS recheck and OET recheck. Some more, like what are the chances of someone getting a higher grade?
Well, to answer that question, it's important to ask ourselves, who gives this new grade? Now, your initial grade is double marked by two examiners. Now, if you challenge the grade, if you paid 120 Australian dollars for it, then it will be marked again by an examiner who is blinded to what the previous grades were given for your mark, so that they're not unduly influenced or biased for this. And because they do not know the grade that you got beforehand, therefore, your grade truly can go up, remain the same, or go down. And the last thing I would like to mention is that if ever your grade changes, then you get a full refund over for whatever fee you paid. Because of course, you shouldn't have to pay extra to get the grades you truly deserve. Yeah. So that's good news for you.
So, in IELTS, candidates need to wait for like 2 weeks to 8 weeks for them to get the results of their remark. What about in OET? Do they have to wait for 2 to 8 weeks as well?
3 weeks, sometimes a month. It varies. It varies, but less than a month.
But one thing's for sure, your first examiner is not exactly the same examiner who will reevaluate your performance. And examiner number 2, the senior examiner, totally won't have any idea what grade you initially got. So for some people, I always tell them, go for remark, go for recheck, because it's worth taking the risk. For me, that's better than just sitting down wondering what could have been if I went for recheck.
Yes, indeed. When you keep in mind that the exam itself, it costs 587 Australian dollars, and the
Yes.
remark is only 120 Australian dollars. Well, you can do the math, and it may ultimately be more worthwhile to go for the remark after all. Although, having said that, a note of caution: your grade can go down. So unlike the IELTS exam,
Yes.
unlike the IELTS exam in which the bands are quite wide, and unlike the previous version of OET in which you were only given letter marks, here in the version 2.0 of OET, you're given numerical marks. So for example, you're given a C plus. Is that a high C plus? Is that a middle C plus? Is that a low C plus? Is it? So therefore, you can make a more informed choice regarding whether a remark is the course for you.
So hopefully this short video will help you in deciding, should I go for remark or should I just accept the initial grade that was given by the examiner?
Yes.
Thank you for your time.